before we do that, a bit of news from the Ball Boys fantasy draft, which is happening this Sunday. We've all been very busy with a quick turnaround. We've just had our draft order drop, which is, and we're doing a bit differently this year. So the way it works is we've had our order drop, and from that order, whoever got pick one actually has the choice of choosing what draft position they want to start from. So our friend Chris got pick one, so he's going to come back to us and let us know which part of the draft he wants. He could pick 4, pick 3. He could start at pick 10 if he wanted to. It's up to him. And then the rest of us will pick ours after those and pick from what's left. So I'll throw it over to you, Callum. Now, you didn't fare so well. You got the 8th selection. So back a little bit. But if you were to put yourself in Chris's shoes, where would you want to draft really in the first round if you had the selection of all 12? Well, let's use our example because we're a 10-team league. So out of the top 10, where would you want to draft?
I'd probably home in on either the 4th or the 5th pick.
Okay.
My preference might be the 4th. At that spot, I think you have to consider the whole draft as well, because at that spot, you're never really going to be rushed either. You're always right in the middle. You have time to make your pick and have a few selections. And also with that first round draft pick, I feel like you've got a core, like a great starting point. You could slip to maybe you could get Anthony Davis, maybe he'll fall. You could get Luka Doncic, you could get Steph Curry. You get a really valuable, reliable first round pick on top of being in a great position for the second round. And it's just like when you're in that middle range, I do think it's a pretty big advantage. Just because sometimes if you're at the say you had the first pick or you had the last pick, it can be advantageous to have back-to-back picks, but then you're waiting for so long. So when you wait for so long, sometimes you have to feel like you have to reach for someone else because you're not going to get them later on. It can get a bit annoying. So if you tuck into that middle round, I think things can fall to you a lot better, and you can kind of just control the draft a lot more. What would you think?
Look, just before I give you my pick, I agree with your points. It's like that reaching factor comes into play, especially if you're in a very competitive league, where like that like one of your sleeper picks is not going to come back to you because the guys, you've got 20 or 24 picks before you pick next. So you're forced to reach spots where you miss out on a bit of value to get your guy. Personally, I think for me this year, I like pick 3. Just because I think there's a clear drop off in terms of my confidence after my top 3 players. There's a few things that I don't like, but in saying that, anything up until I don't like pick 8. So if I had anything in the top 7, or I would have pick 9 or 10. But I think in terms of the worst selection, I think pick 8 might be the worst one. I think at that point, you're just stuck with Jokic. I think he's just pick 8. Someone might disagree with me, but personally, I don't love that selection. It means you also have to wait on the way back, and you might miss out on someone like a LeBron, Kawhi, or Kevin Durant who gets selected before then. So I don't know. I don't love that spot, but to be honest, in this year with a lot of it's a bit of a flatter draft. I don't think there's a clear number 1. So maybe even pick 1 might not be the best option because you've got to wait so long for someone to come back. I feel like it's a flatter draft this year compared to other years.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty strong top 8 as well.
Yeah.
So as you said, Jokic could fall to you at 8 if you're in that position. But you could, tactically do a few kind of mock drafts before and try and base the team around Jokic. In terms of first round picks, he puts up the least amount of points. So instantly you could think, hey, I'm going to dedicate, let's punt points and do something like that. So it could work out for you. But you might be a bit stuck, as you mentioned.
Yeah. I think I don't like building around someone like Jokic. I feel like he's difficult to build around, but he's still a good player. And we talked about previously that he finishes really strong to end the season, but can sometimes be a frustrating player to own, as you would know, Cal, from having him last year.
Yeah, look, I had him last year. That's right.